for joining us on Thursday night for the Autumn Cruise Waterdeep Dragon Heist Adventures here on Variant Rolls, one of our 4 streams in this mega stream 4-party adventure. You can catch us Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, all those nights except Saturday at about noon. I am your Dungeon Master, Dan Gaston, and thanks for joining me, and we are here to play some Dungeons & Dragons with everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Awesome. Woo.
Yay.
We're ready.
All right, so why don't we go around and just say hello to everyone. Like usual, reintroduce your characters, and we'll get started. So let's start today with Matt. How about you?
Hey, how are y'all? I'm at Learning Kim on Twitter. I'm playing Sticks tonight. And what's up, y'all?
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's cut all the way over to the upper right-hand corner to Cindy.
Hey, I'm Cindy. I am playing Emmeline Frostfeather.
Excellent. No, that's good. We can keep it keep it brief today. We'll assume most people have seen us. Let's go down to Jeff.
I'm Jeff. I'm playing Emmeline's brother Thaddeus Frostfeather, and you've seen me around Twitter as Atomic Straw.
Perfect. Let's go now to the upper left with Nox.
Hi, I'm Nox. I am playing the Eladrin Bard, Dahlia, who is currently inhabiting their super pissed off summer form. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, the Eladrins, in particular the Blessed of Corellon Eladrins that we are blessed with in multiple games in this, are bringing some entertainment with their personalities and physical changes. It's great. And last but not least, we will go underneath me, down below, to Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm playing Thindrit, or Doc, who is a dwarven forgery cleric. So he is trying to keep everyone alive.
Excellent. Well, so far so good. I mean, you only had one near death, and that was a guest star, and red shirt, right?
Yes.
True, red horns and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Red, like total red, just all over. I mean, if that's not a calling card, I don't know what is. All right, so last week on our session, finally, you guys rescued Floon. Yay!
Yay, yeah.
You found the second pretty red-haired man of the adventure, Floon Blagmar, deep in the sewers in a Xanathar Guild's hideout where he had been abducted and was being questioned for information that he had no idea what anybody was talking about. And he was being questioned by, and I don't recall if you guys figured out exactly what it was, but a weird, strange, tentacle-faced monstrosity with a pet brain with feet that eventually got its just desserts by being golf ball teed off of Thaddeus's chest against the wall, which was great. And also a mage who was sort of an underling in the Xanathar's guild. But so you dispatched with them and rescued Floon Blagmar, returned, got in touch with Volo, who sadly is not nearly as rich as he says he is, has a bit of a cash flow and liquidity problems, but he was house rich, money poor, and signed over a deed to you to Trollskull Manor in Trollskull Alley in the North Ward. And the Frostfeather siblings were at least vaguely aware of the manor, sort of an upper middle class area of the North Ward. And that is where we left it. So you have a deed. You're going to go inspect the manor and get it signed over to you, assuming that you were happy with it. Which, why not? Like, that's worth way more than the 500 gold that otherwise he would have paid you. So we will pick up outside the manor. So in the morning, deed in hand in front of your new establishment that you own. So you're standing, like I said, in a kind of well-to-do upper middle class establishment. area, the alley. There's a number of businesses, houses around you, and Trollskull Manor, which stands right on the corner on the north entrance of the alley itself. And it's the most rundown dump in the place.
Awesome.
It's a
Cool.
little rundown and ramshackle. The windows are boarded over. It hasn't been painted in a while. It's missing some shingles. But, the bones are there. It's solid. It's 4 stories, including an attic. It even has a mini turret that occupies sort of the 3rd and 4th floor. Pokes out, I guess the 3rd floor, and then pokes out sort of at attic level. You've been led to believe that there is a basement. There's living quarters inside. And at one point, it was a tavern. The previous owner had operated it as a tavern, has since died, and the rumor is that the place is haunted by his ghost.
Cool.
Well,
Let's go check it out.
All right.
we can't do any worse by it.
Nope.
So Doc's gonna go ahead and just scratch the back of his head and start rubbing the coin of his deity, and go ahead and just start casting all sorts of detect spells.
Okay.
So,
So what does your ritual casting look like when you pull up sort of your detect magic, and what other ones you're casting?
right. So definitely the detect evil and good is really just almost just tracing the outline of the deity on the coin, just focusing in and trying to actually pull more or less insight from I forgot her name. And so then counterclockwise to that, I'm going to go ahead and do the ritual cast for detect poison and disease.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna flip it over. The band has the lesser known but more morally gray deity for the detect magic, and just kind of rubbing over the thumb. It's almost a little worn at this point, just because I'm trying to I've been trying to figure out what's actually magic, what's not for so long. But it's almost worn smooth, but at the same time, it still does the charm.
Okay, perfect. And so, the detect magic will be up for a while. I think the detect evil and good and detect poison and disease, do they last for a little bit, or are they sort of
10 minutes.
one and done? Okay, they're all
10 minutes and within 30 feet both.
Okay.
So
Right.
kind of gonna probably have to hustle or recast probably once I get to the second.
Yeah, well, technically, if they last 10 minutes, it takes you 10 minutes to do the ritual. Because it takes 10 minutes plus the casting time.
That's right.
But that's fine. I think for narrative purposes here, you sort of had rituals kind of prepared to do, and that's fine. So you kind of bring them all up, and your eyes flash through a sequence of different colors as you're, I imagine the predator vision mode thing changes as you're looking through the house.
Just trying to make sure that we're not walking into anything. They say it's haunted. I mean, I know Valo's full of shit, but there might be some merit.
I'm tapping my foot impatiently. Can we hurry this up?
Yeah, we can go.
I'm already heading up to the front porch already, so.
All right.
I'd be following behind Sticks.
Yeah, and so one of you would have a key. Volo would have given you the key and everything along with the deed.
All right. Who's got the key? Somebody's got to have the key.
Seems likely I would. So
Thaddeus.
I'll just kind of go up and
Yeah, and so you pull everything all open. The door swings open on the front. So you sort of go up a little set of stairs there, and it opens up on the main. Basically, what you can tell was obviously a tap room. So most of the first floor is taken up by this large tap room. Probably occupies, 80% of the first floor. There's dusty tables and chairs dotted around. Some of them like covered with the drop cloths, right? The stereotypical empty house. There's a large fireplace occupying it. There's an L-shaped bar. There are like casks and like empty, like clearly obvious, empty wine bottles and things like that sitting around behind the bar. And otherwise, there's like a pantry and kitchen that you would find here with quick inspection. And it appears that actually to go up to the upper floors, you kind of actually have to go around outside and up a back set of stairs.
That's
And then there is also in the tap room behind the bar, there's an obvious hatch in the floor. Like it's not hidden. There's a square hatch that's closed but inset in the floor. Presumably goes to the basement.
How do y'all want to handle this? All of us go together, or do you want to split up? Or
I'll find out what's in the basement.
It's just an old house. Do we really need to be this cautious? Look, I look over at Doc. I pat you on the shoulder. Hey man, you got this floor level. I'm just gonna go check the upstairs. And then I march out the front door to go find the stairs to the second upper floors.
Sounds good.
I'm waving dust out of my face and peering into the basement.
So it's pitch black. When you open it, there's sort of some light that filters down inside. But you do see scattered around nearby, there's, lanterns and things like that where you could easily get light. And the basement's pretty simple. It's not as big as the first floor is. It's kind of just a tiny basement right underneath this part of the tap room. There's a set of stairs that go down, and there's basically a wine cellar and what would be an ale cellar there.
Is there a cask of Amontillado?
There is a cask labeled as such, but when you rap on it, it's pretty obviously empty.
Are there bodies in the wall?
we need to see any construction.
No, don't. But that Doc, when you poke your head down there, you can see a faint glimmer of illusion magic on one of the walls.
Illusion magic. Okay, so I'm guessing, Emmeline, are you down there as well?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and you have something I could cast light on?
I hold up one of my sticks.
Okay.
How about this?
Yeah, that works.
I have this in my hair all the time, so you can cast light on the feather.
That'll work. Okay.
Okay.
You'll have to bend down for that, but 4 foot. Okay, there we go. So illuminate the blue feather. That way we can get a better look. And then this wall looks off somehow.
Yeah, you can just see like it almost ripples a little bit in a patch, about the size of a doorway.
Okay.
Would you like me to keep it?
So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't just push on it. See if it gives.
So when it's pretty clever. When you start pushing on it, you can actually feel real wall. Like your hand doesn't go through it. But the texture is a little off. So Styx had asked about new construction, and instead of kind of chiseled stone, it feels like brick underneath it. And then of course, at this point you realize that it's an illusion and it sort of melts away, and you can see that looks like there was probably a doorway here, but it's been bricked up.
Huh. Okay, and so the illusion has fallen now for everybody or just me?
Just for you.
Okay. So turn over to Styx, and it's like, I think we found our way to the sewers.
What?
Maybe. Or bodies. Who knows? There's
Right. So I'm just seeing him push on the wall, right?
Yep.
There's a
doorway there?
a bricked up doorway, not
Oh.
stone, like what we're seeing.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
let's
gonna
go-
walk up. I'm gonna walk over there and kind of push on it also.
Yeah, and once
Right.
you start physically inspecting it, right, the illusion pretty quickly falls away.
okay.
Okay.
Well, let's you guys want to put a pin in this and keep looking?
Yeah, this looks like a half day's work at least.
Easily. Yeah, who knows what guild we'll have to get in to make this workable.
Dahlia, so upstairs, going up the back stairs, you probably there was like an extra set of keys once you unlocked. You know, it's kind of one of those you got the key from Volo, but when you unlocked, there was a couple of spare sets of keys, so you could grab it and go upstairs and unlock the doors that head to the second and third floors. And you know, it's dim. There's like gauzy curtains on the wall or over the windows, which are also like boarded up, right? But some lights filtering in. And you kind of enter out into what appears to be some kind of common room, maybe. There's some furniture, mostly broken, pushed up against the walls. But then there's some doors that lead into some halls, some stairways going up. There's a big room. There's like fireplaces in all of the rooms that maybe is some kind of den underneath the turret area with a little balcony that comes out and overlooks the street below. And then there's a bedroom and like a spare room up there as well. Sort of quickly exploring up into like the third floor, you find more bedrooms, including a master bedroom with a private bath, which has a nice expensive fireplace double facing onto both sides, and what appears to be a library. And then the attic has like storage and an additional bedroom.
After surveying all of it, I head to the second floor, start uncovering some of the broken furniture, find the one that's the most put together.
Yeah.
And I just sit back on it, kick my feet up, put my hands behind my head, and just wait for them to come make their way up here.
All right, excellent. Yeah, you probably would have found at least one intact table and probably some like mismatched chairs from different sets that you could set up. What is Thaddeus doing?
While they were exploring down in the basement, I would have been checking out behind the bar, just going through, seeing if anything interesting was left there, and then wander into the pantry and kitchen and just check out the rest of the first floor there.
Yeah, and basically everything's covered in dust. There are some like bottles left around, but you know, you take up one hopefully and shake it, and there's just like the barest dregs of liquid at the bottom. It looks like the whole place pretty much needs to be, you know, everything of value was kind of taken out, and just like the junk and garbage was left behind.
Well, I've seen
Cool.
some places. How's it going down there?
Dusty,
Well,
brick wall.
we'll go ahead and head on back up, and I'll just report to Thaddeus what we found, and we'll come back to that. How about you? Any luck on your end?
Well, that's certainly more interesting than anything left up here. We see what the rest of this place is.
Sounds good.
Dahlia, you okay up there?
Probably
can't hear
you might be able to hear it kind of coming faintly through the floorboards.
I just bang my boot on the floorboard. Boof, boof, boof.
That's such a
Hurry
mom
the
move.
hell up!
That's what my mom did
fine.
to me all the time growing up.
That's bound to be the ghost.
He is haunted.
Yeah, so if you guys made your way up, you would find her in the common room, clearly a common room upstairs. Kind of poking around, you'd see sort of what I described. Similar to downstairs, it's, you know, obviously nothing of value.
Took you long enough. Did you find anything interesting?
We did actually. Found a brick door hidden by an illusion in the basement.
What's behind it?
Not sure yet. Figured we'd catch up to see if you found anything.
Nah, it's exactly what you'd expect. Some bedrooms, other places that furniture goes in.
Descriptive.
You hear at this point a banging on the door downstairs.
I start counting heads. We did. Everyone's here.
Is that our first neighbor or first visit?
Could be somebody. Let's go down and check. Ah,
So I'll go down first. And
Okay.
go
yeah.
forward.
I'll go ahead and stay on the second floor and keep searching, detecting.
Okay. So you guys go downstairs and you have to, again, you're kind of going out the back and sort
Out
of
and
around the
around.
building.
I'm
Yeah.
grumbling about it the whole way. This is the dumbest way to get into private quarters I've ever seen. Whose fucking idea was this? I can't
I
believe
can't wait till it rains. Then it's going to even be more fun. So,
What? Oh, yeah.
So you
As
start.
we walk
Oh,
around,
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'll just kind of, who is calling?
And so when you come around, you see a male half elf, sort of middle aged looking half elf, just a very slight point to his ears, brown hair, sort of weathered skin, and actually a bushy beard, in simple clothes, kind of leathers, pants, like a workman's shirt, and a leather apron on with some various tools that appear to be chisels and things like that shoved into it. Who then looks over and he goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot the guy who built this was a complete moron. If you're upstairs, you'd have to come around. Sorry the intrusion. My name's Tally Fellbranch," and he holds his hand out.
I'll just. And why are you here?
Well, just wanted to welcome you to the neighborhood. Let you know that I am a carpenter. I have the shop just down below, all kinds of wooden goods and furniture, everything like that. So I just figured I'd introduce myself. Obviously, new folks moving in, you might have the need of my services, and I would welcome the work. Be nice to see this old dump spruced up. It's kind of bringing the home values down. The HOA doesn't like it very much.
Well, Mr. Felbridge, we may have need of you. I am Thaddeus Brosbrother. This is my sister Emily, and my compatriots here.
Ah, the Bros Feathers. Excellent, excellent. Nice to see people of your stature moving into the neighborhood.
Well, somebody has to fix up this dump.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I look at the neighborhood, not the house.
So actually, looking around the neighborhood, some of the houses, there's a lot of, the typical thing where the first floor is a business and second and third floor above it are residential housing. It's a lot of townhouses. There is one in particular kind of just down the way that catches your eye because the whole third floor, the walls are glass. Like the whole third floor has been made into a greenhouse. And you can see like a riot of color of all the like blooming flowers inside.
Interesting. Thank you for coming by. We are unsure what we need at this point, but how would we get a hold of you?
Well, you could, and he kind of just points down the street, and you can see a shop that has like a wooden shield almost outside that's like made of wood, elaborately carved and painted. That's my shop right down the street. I'm there most days, normal business hours, and if I'm not, one of my apprentices will be sure to take a message, but you can come see me anytime.
Very good. I would
And-
offer you a drink, but you don't want anything we have here at the moment.
Well, and please, if you need anything, a nice casserole or something like that, always happy to help out a neighbor.
Hey, Tally, and I gesture up towards the greenhouse. Who lives
Yeah.
there?
Oh, that's Fala's place. Fala Lefelier. They're an herbalist and apothecary. That's their greenhouse where they grow all their ingredients for their work.
And a nod approvingly.
There's a variety of interesting characters. You've got the private eye down the street, Vincent Trench. We've got our fine blacksmiths here, both weapons and armor. There's a bookshop. Everything you could possibly need right around the corner.
I have my arms crossed and I've got like one hand on my chin, kind of like, stroking at my jawline. Who would you say is the most attractive person to visit first?
He kind of chuckles. Well, I like to think of myself as a rather handsome man, but
You're not bad. I didn't exclude you in the question. I've already met you though.
I suppose it depends your tastes. The bookseller is a mage and dragonborn, so if you like them scaly. Fala, they are a quite attractive person themselves. I'd say Embrick and Avi, but you don't want to cause trouble in their home life, I'm sure.
What does that mean?
Oh, well, Embrick and Avi are married.
Oh, well, I mean, just have to ask, right?
I suppose that's true. Embrick has quite the temper.
Well,
being a fire
thinking.
genasi and all.
Ooh, okay. I make a mental note of this. Well, thanks, Tally. That's a lot of good information to know about our neighbors.
Quite happy to be of service.
And I think when we get this place up and running, you're more than welcome to stop by for a drink on me.
Absolutely, I would love to. It would be great to have a neighborhood watering hole again. That place has been closed since before I moved into the neighborhood, so got to go out a little bit of a distance to get a drink, and it's nice when something's close to home. Just pop in and, have a nightcap.
I slept.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I slapped my hand on Thaddeus' shoulder and like one hand on my hip and like this big grin, and I like tilt my head away from you. What do you say, Thaddeus? We're going to turn this into a watering hole, right?
Seems it's set up for that. Have no other use for it that I can think of.
I think if we break in our little tavern here over some drinks, we can probably come up with some other interesting ideas.
Depends what's in the basement there.
Let's find out.
I look at Emmeline. Do you want to go find out?
Yeah.
Let's go. And I grab your hand and I start pulling you along.
She's like,
and as I go by Thaddeus, I just wiggle my eyebrows at you. Suggestively.
Oh dear. Tally just kind of wanders away, slightly confused.
He's like, I guess they're done with me now.
I guess
all
they're
right, so
done.
Emmeline looks at Dahlia. If you can do anything to loosen him up, go for it.
I can think of a couple things.
I don't want to be there.
No, that's not one of the things that I was thinking of, I promise.
Oh dear.
You know the Cragsmere family? Have you ever heard of them? They're another noble family, but Edwin Cragsmere, it's just, if you want somebody attractive, hands off though, he's mine.
Dahlia and Emmeline both take a point of inspiration for that little exchange.
Where do I put inspiration? Where does it go?
I think there's a little box on that you can just click. I think.
Oh, I see. I found it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so you guys are going to go down to the basement pretty quickly once anybody, inspects the region. the illusion sort of falls away, and you can see clearly, a small square doorway that's been bricked in.
So what do you,
Let's break it.
yeah.
This is one of those ones where I really would like to open it, but I'm not sure about opening it because what's on the other side?
Let's find out.
Doc? Any ideas?
Oh, at this time, like while you guys were talking, I was walking along the second and third floors and maybe even attic, detecting for anything poisonous, evil, good.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and give me a perception check?
See, unlike the rest of us, Doc is actually doing work instead of just fucking around.
Well, if you want me to bust down the
Much
wall, I
better.
can help. So
That was a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Yep. You don't see any signs of magic or evil or poison. It seems like an empty, abandoned house.
oh, good.
Whoa.
Are we going to end up opening up the red room like from the Amityville Horror?
Well, so at that point, I'm guessing like by the end of their conversation, I may have caught them coming around or something, caught up with them, reported that it's just musty.
Yeah, I could have told you that.
Hey, Dahlia.
Yeah.
Should we try and break the door down, like the bricks? Or can you do your like phase step thing through the, I don't know what you call it, but it's amazing. Can you do that?
I think for a moment as I look up what the particulars of Face Step are.
Let me think about this for a second.
Well, you were in one spot, and then all of a sudden you were in another spot, and then you did it to me when we were, fighting the Kenku on the stairs.
Yes. Yeah. I remember because I did it. So here's the thing with that is I can't just do that if I can't see where I'm going.
Oh,
And I can't see where I'm going past this.
no.
Mm-hmm. So, and I crack my knuckles. And I look over at Styx, who I'm assuming has joined us. And Emmeline. So, as much as I'd love to help you take this wall down, that kind of brute force isn't exactly my forte. So happy to leave it to the experts.
We might need to go get a couple of sledgehammers.
Oh, well, that part I can help with.
Is it on? I want to see if it's real brick. I'm just gonna bounce off of it, jump off of it, like a parkour thing.
Oh yeah,
Maybe the wall.
yeah, your foot plants pretty solidly on it. It feels like a brick wall.
Okay. I guess I won't kick it then.
All right, let's go get some sledgehammers.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a couple of swings with the light hammer I got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is basically a
Mhm.
light sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you'd whack it a couple of times and it would start, to crack and chip. You figure that if, it'll take a little bit of time. Warhammers and light hammers are a bit lighter than a typical sledgehammer, but it's still gonna do the job. It'll just, take a little bit longer.
Yeah, at this point it's mostly just like really trying to hammer out like just enough to like peer through. So
just get like a brick or two busted out. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you spend a few minutes and it's definitely hollow on the other side, and you hammer out a small hole. The first time you crack through and bust through a little bit, it's obviously dark on the other side, and a familiar but not pleasant smell wafts through.
Yeah.
It smells like sewage on the other side.
Sweet.
Yeah. That interesting.
I'm gonna look for something to plug that hole back up with.
Yeah, we need to get a door on this, and just trying to like put
An
the
airtight door.
airtight door. Yeah.
So are we thinking that's the sewers or where they've just dumped sewage?
Well, seeing as we were traipsing around in it earlier, I'm thinking it's to the sewers.
Yeah.
So Dahlia, now that there's a hole, you can see on the other side.
You know, gonna pass.
But why?
Just clarity.
Not worth it.
No.
Oh, that was a good suggestion. Someone said plug the hole with soap.
There you go.
I would never wait. It's handmade.
Oh, right.
I'll bend out to the hole and shout in Goblin, just shout, "Hello!"
And we just hear.
Thaddeus, roll a percentile dice.
Gonna get a buttload of goblins coming.
All the
Through the
goblins.
sewage.
63.
63 goblins come through.
No, but all of a sudden, it's kind of dark on the other side, but then all of a sudden, part of a face like pops into view on that side of the wall and sort of presses like a yellowy eye, green skin up against, and a female goblin voice responds back in Goblin. Yes? Why are you yelling into our boat? Noise pollution. Come on.
We were just wondering who lives here.
Oh, well, it's the sewers, so lots of goblins down here.
Well, that's what I was hoping. Just wanted to introduce myself. I am Thaddeus Browsfeather, and we have recently acquired the other side of this wall.
Ah, interesting. Well, there is a warren nearby. That's where I am from. That is, my name is Blank. Self-proclaimed first sewage engineer, Blank, the goblin.
God.
We like to make sure this area of the sewers keeps clear, Our motto is, it's a shitty job, but someone has to do it.
That is a very good motto, and I applaud your efforts.
Yeah, I would rather be, like an actual engineer, like building buildings. I dream of multi-story housing units for goblins rising high into the air. But, well, I'm just a goblin and the Architects Guild won't employ me. Say I don't have the qualifications.
They should not be so close-minded.
What's
They don't
What's
even
your
speak
grade?
goblin.
Oh yeah.
So Thaddeus,
Yes,
I don't
sir?
know what you're talking about, but it's awfully smelly in there, and I don't know how to translate.
Turns out we have a very helpful warren of sewage engineers on the other side of this wall.
Fabulous.
Will keep things moving for us.
Yeah, it smells like lots of things are moving. Could we maybe just patch that there?
Now, boo. We may have a business opportunity here.
What are you talking about, Thaddeus?
Yeah, do you want to include the rest of us here?
And then you hear like a growling voice from the other side that's like, who dat?
New house you got.
Oh, is this the same same goblin now speaking in
It
common?
is. It is, yeah.
So I'll say in Goblin, I have some compatriots here. We will all be occupying some space here, but I'm hoping we can work together, and I'll go introduce everybody and say hi. You know?
Me Blank. Speak common. Okay. Live
Me-
nearby.
Oh, yeah.
Memeline?
Someone's getting a Skype call. They want to play too.
And then Blank just responds back to Thaddeus in Goblin and just says, I really hate conversing in the common tongue.
Well, some of us have to, unfortunately.
Just lack such nuance.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
I'm not very practiced in your tongue, but it does seem fascinating.
Well, you speak reasonably well, like a small child.
Well,
I'm
thank
gonna-
you.
I'm gonna cast comprehend languages on myself.
Okay.
Fucking over
excellent.
this shit.
Excellent.
The unfortunate part about this is I can only understand what they're saying. I cannot return
Okay. Yeah.
the.
Maybe you can
Yeah.
clue the rest of us in.
Yeah, so I start like in a whispered voice. Yeah, so this goblin lady, she's bitching about the language we're speaking, claims that there's not enough nuance. Roll my eyes.
Blank, do you have availability in your warren? Do you have goblins that are not busy with the sewage engineer?
Dahlia, what did he say?
Now he's
Oh.
asking about their availability.
Absolutely. Unemployment rates are at all-time highs among Goblin Warrens. I mean, our, purchasing parity is just down. Like,
I would
cash
imagine
flow.
it's hard to find equitable treatment when
Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, practically the only people hiring are the Zhentarim and the Xanathars Guild. I mean, 6 of one, half dozen of the other,
that's very true. We've had some encounters with both recently. Not very pleasant.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this, capitalism run amok. I mean, the guilds control everything. They don't think that, they don't recognize our credentials as goblins. They don't want to employ us. Kobolds get better treatments than we do. Kobolds, like little dragon dogs. I mean, come on. All they do is alchemy and build traps.
What was that about kobolds? What'd she say about kobolds?
She called them dragon dogs. It's an interesting name, but
So, Blank, we are considering what to do with this property. One thing we may do is have a business or two going on here. We may need some employment. I was wondering if we could reach a understanding of help.
I think he's
You know-
asking. I think he's asking Blink to work for us.
If the pay
Oh,
is
Emily?
better
Are
than
the rates
the
competitive?
non-pay we get as volunteer sewage engineers, and if it's competitive with, the crime families that want to employ us, we would be happy to come to some sort of arrangement, particularly if it provides valuable skills for our goblin youth. I mean, they're our future.
Well, that is most interesting.
I'd give you double inspiration if I could.
Well, hearing the sound of this, all right, we're talking business now. Have her step back, and I'm going to pull out the Warhammer and make a doorway for her. This is no way to do business.
So you would shatter it, and then this grubby goblin young woman would step through, and just like a tunic that's like a burlap sack with armholes cut out of it and sort of belted around the waist, and sort of like big rubber boots, basically, that she stomps in through. They're covered in what looks like mud, but it's probably not mud.
It's not.
She steps in and kind of looks around the doorway in the basement and sort of sniffs and says, crude but effective.
Would you like some peppermint paprika soap?
She kind of lowers her head, wrinkles her nose, pulls the soap, eats it.
I knew that was coming.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Sure that good on tummy.
You might find it an excellent laxative.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
Perhaps goblins do
Fine.
not clean tummies, Boo.
I didn't know she was gonna eat it.
You don't know anything about goblins.
I didn't know you could speak goblin.
And Goblin, please forgive my sister, Blake.
It's all right. We deal with the misperceptions of surface folk on a daily basis. Now, we were talking about skills acquisition, some sort of youth outreach program, perhaps, internships.
College
Should we give her
credit.
the tour?
I kind of looked around at everybody gathered here. I'm like, well, as you may see, we're a rather diverse party. We have some skills we might be able to pass on.
Well, if they're applicable in the real world, I mean, that's really all we want. And of course, some kind of recommendation. I mean, if we can have some sort of formal documentation and certification process.
Sure, that's reasonable.
I just look at Thaddeus when he says that. What?
What did he just say, Dahlia?
It's not worth repeating.
Well, may I inquire what the crime families are offering you?
Coppers a day, my friend. Coppers a day.
We can definitely do better than that.
I'm smacking Emmeline's hand.
Well, I think we have some things to figure out amongst ourselves, but I will definitely like to get back to you.
We can work out the details.
Very good.
I'll leave you my card.
I was about to ask if she has a business card.
Thank you.
It's a ratty piece of paper, much folded, grimy. In one side, in the like goblin alphabet, is written something quite nice. Blank, Blackhold Warren, volunteers, first sewage engineer, honorary. And then on the other side, like scrawled in common, like basically like toddler scrawl in crayon almost, is just like blank goblin.
Well, Blank, very nice to meet you. And we will.
She holds out her little clawed hand.
I'll shake it.
And then
Much more firmly than I did the guy upstairs.
Before Blink walks off, I'm gonna kneel down in front of her, and say, Blink, next time come around, why don't you join us upstairs for a drink? I'd love to hear more about you and your story.
Her eyes go kind of soft. She reaches up and touches you on the shoulder. Blank, thank you. Very kind.
You can speak to me, Goblin. That's okay. I can understand you. I just can't speak it back.
Well, in that case, I am very pleased to make your acquaintance, and your hospitality, generously extended, touches me deeply.
The pleasure is all mine, Lady Blank, until we meet again. And then I stand up.
And then Blank walks away.
And scene.
All right, so you guys have talked over the last little while. We are assuming you're gonna take ownership of the residence. That all happens just with the needless bureaucracy of Waterdeep. Volo would meet you at a magistrate at noon. There is, of course, a 25 gold transfer fee, like a tax, an estate transfer tax. And Volo doesn't have it, but luckily Ranier Neverember was there, who sort of then discreetly paid for it on Volo's behalf for you. And the magistrate witnesses it, signs it, and I believe that the Bros Feathers were going to be the ones taking formal ownership.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I would have probably noticed Rainier paying that and
Yeah.
kind of really thanked him and
Yeah.
acknowledged it.
Yeah, because usually it is the owner that pays it. But
Right.
in this case where Volo's giving it to you, it's sort of it's sort of crappy for him to then expect you to pay for it. But so yes, you would purchase it. And you guys have some plans. So why don't we kind of shift gears into a little bit more of a montage as we go through what kinds of things you guys are planning to do over the next couple of days or week or so to spruce up the manor, and what your plans are for this fine establishment.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know Dahlia would have suggested as a venue for them to blow off steam. They would have suggested some sort of like underground fighting ring or fighting pit or some kind of
Exactly.
Yep.
Did we get everything up and running?
The basement's got to be used for something.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll definitely say we put in an actual door. So we can do like one of those flower doors.
yes.
Yeah. So your first priorities would, I guess, be to like sort of just spruce the place up a little bit and get supplies. So I guess the first question, so you are planning on running a tavern? Yes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there was thoughts about essentially a fighting ring. So the basement's not big enough, but the second floor with that big common room area would probably be a good place for it.
Then you would throw people off onto the first floor.
Well, hey, that would actually be better because then we can have everybody walking out the back and up.
Oh, true.
So-
Yeah.
That's true. Make use of those stupid stairs.
Exactly.
Also, is it well, because we just proposed that idea, that was actually a really good idea. I was gonna say, could we just close in the stairs? Like move that inside somehow?
That'll be a lot of work.
Well, we could put an awning over the top of them going up.
Mm-hmm.
We could put a
Back door,
pole
maybe.
slide down.
Oh, there you go.
I love that idea. Fireman pole from the second floor to the first.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
I see no problem with this.
Yeah, you could.
On the off night, it's a stripper pole, but whatever. You know?
There you go.
It's a good show coming down from the second floor.
I have something tangentially related to this.
What an entrance.
Okay.
In The Sims, I'm building Dahlia's tavern and apartment just for my own fun. And there's like the stage where, she performs in her spring form, and there is 100% a stripper pole in there. Doesn't necessarily mean that stripping happens, but there is the pole.
So I'm just going to say, looking at the map, on the second floor, there's a bedroom and a spare room, right? Sort of off of the hallway. That bedroom is right above a part of the tap room near the kitchen, which would be potentially a great place to slide down. The other would be from the den, because that's in the sort of outer turret area, and it would come down into the turret area in the tap room.
Isn't there a fireplace in the tavern?
There is, but it's kind of like out in the middle of the room with the chimney going up through. And like there's a little bit of space in behind it. Mm-hmm. And then there's also like a clear area to where you would come down. But yes, the sight lines would not be great. The fireplace would block the sight lines a little bit of where the pole would come out on the first floor.
What if the victor is who slides down the pole?
Ooh.
Like that's part of their if they can manage, that's like their victory. Yeah, their victory parade.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a cape of billowing so the victor can wear it as he slides down? I mean,
how do we know that has a cape of billowing?
I'm sure that we could acquire a cape of billowing for the victor to wear when they make their entrance into the common room. That's totally doable.
Right, and then there's a gnome in the Friday night game who should really get one too.
There is indeed. So what other plans do you have? For instance, which of you are planning on potentially staying here in terms of living here? There are bedrooms available.
Doc doesn't.
No, I'm going home.
I think Dolly would only stay when they're not in their spring form, because that's like what Waterdeep knows. That's what
Right.
Knight knows, and so to
Okay.
keep a low profile on that, they might stay there
Okay.
during those times.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea. Otherwise, you might want to have someone who's around, right, in the night to keep an eye on the place. So, because there is staff. So you've got the tavern, you've got the fight ring you're going to set up upstairs for betting and that sort of thing. What about some of your other plans that have been under discussion?
It seems to me if we have a tavern, we need some sort of pole to bring people out of their current watering holes to ours. We need attractions.
Oh, are you thinking of not necessarily pint nights, but maybe trivia?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, a meditation class.
No, that's not what he was thinking.
Oh,
I was thinking we have a fight ring. We have a
oh, I can do that
fairly
too.
decent martial
There.
artist
Fairly.
who happens to be a noble.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because trust me, common people would love to try to beat up a noble.
It's true. It's a great selling point.
So why not Thaddeus?
Yes.
That could work too.
They want to at least earn their money, not go down in the first round.
I was thinking this would be more for Thaddeus's benefit, maybe loosen up a little bit.
Well, we have a suggestion also of goat yoga too. So
Goat yoga. Sounds boring.
early morning.
Like, wait. So do the goats do the yoga, or you do yoga positions in a way that makes you look like a goat?
Oh, that's
No,
gonna be
you
a
do
question.
yoga with a goat.
Oh, with a goat.
Yes.
That's interesting to anybody?
No.
Okay.
It's pretty funny from what I've understand.
I think we'd have to employ a goat herder at that point, and budget's kind of already well. It's like, maybe on year 2.
My
Or
God,
if-
people.
It
We
could
can
be a
table that
bard
one for
that
later.
also yodels, a yodeling bard who is also a goat herder. That would bring in.
Okay, so karaoke night. That's a great idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have
With
to
the
walk out
yodeling
now
goat
because I'm gonna hurt somebody, and I get up and I walk out of wherever the hell we're at right now. I just can't handle this.
All
You
right,
hear
so
me
you're
like kicking the walls outside.
So you're planning some event nights, trivia nights, karaoke. You've got some bards, fighting nights, potentially.
Fraggle Rock on the house on the wall downstairs.
I think we
Okay.
may have talked about that 3rd floor, maybe doing an inn. Did we want to do that, or is the fight night on the 2nd floor going to be too much of a ruckus?
Yeah, someone would have to. You do kind of have to walk across where you would be putting the fighting ring to get to the hallway to go upstairs to the 3rd floor and attic.
That's right.
Yeah, I hear donut shop.
We do have a lovely big kitchen here.
It's
There
true.
is.
And I think in exchange for some of the cheaper labor, some on-the-job training would be good for some of these goblins if want to have them branch out into the baking industry.
Goblins
Oh.
donuts.
They will need to wash their hands first.
We
A lot.
Definitely.
we can explain this.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
keep all that soap on hand.
I'll make more.
Yes.
There is a nice apothecary down the street.
True.
Burn away the dirt.
Well, maybe the 3rd floor is the goblin
Dormitory.
dormitory re-education or training.
Wait.
Not
Wait,
re-education.
Not re-education.
Take off the re.
Just
and let's-
education center. The goblin educations or the home for wayward goblin youth. I don't know.
No, they sound like X-Men. What kind of powers do these goblins have?
Just eloquence and
Aw.
rage against the system.
And radiant personalities.
Aw.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got goblin dormitory.
Don't forget to save one of those rooms for whoever the hell's staying overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because now we're gonna need
absolutely.
like a governess.
Yeah, well, so there's the master bedroom up there with its private bath. So that could be the, either Dahlia stays there in their like non-spring forms, or someone else that's looking after things. That's all doable. So you're going to contract this out. Question is, are you going to employ the guilds or not? You know that it's cheaper to not employ the guilds short term, but not in the long term. The guilds are pretty underhanded and insistent in things being done through the guilds.
Could we work a way, Thaddeus, to maybe pay a little extra to have them train the goblins on hand?
Now that is a very interesting question, Doc.
I'm always
Hmm.
happy to help with those conversations too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if anyone seems inflexible, I can help with that flexibility.
I love it.
We could count on you, Dahlia.
Help
So
them look the goblins as well.
It'll be like that one family that would always come over for dinner with like the 15 kids and
Right,
they like thought
yeah,
they were
the-
so well behaved.
Yes. What a mess that was. Yes.
So I think that's doable. And so I think for that, it's a little bit of a search and charisma based thing. You can leverage some of your contacts because this probably would go against guild rules. So you got to find someone who's willing to bend the rules and take some extra money, sort of under the table kind of thing. So I'll have someone make a charisma investigation check, and if that person has ties to criminal elements in the city, I will give them advantage. And then I will need someone else who is going to do a charisma persuasion check, and depending on the outcome and or assistance that they get from somebody else, they may have advantage on that as well.
I would suggest not me.
Same.
I think so here's the thing is I can do either of them.
Mhm.
Regardless, I'm going to cast friends on myself, which gives me advantage on all charisma checks. So I can do either of them.
Well, so you cast friends on your target, and it gives
No,
you
it's on me.
advantage.
I think. Hold on, you might be right.
I think friends, the cantrip, you cast it on the target, and then it gives you advantage.
Well, the
and then they
range-
know.
It says self.
Because I might be
Plus,
just
well,
thinking of a
when the
different
spell
one.
ends, the creature realizes that you use magic. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. Yep.
Yeah. And so
Okay, so I won't do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the range is self, but you cast it the target. Because you cast it on yourself, but then you charm the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. That then falls into the category of
That'd be no good. So I won't do that.
yeah.
So that might mean that the persuasion might be more my bread and butter. I don't have any criminal tie connections, so
But you do.
I'm not real great at that, but I could give it a shot.
good
Well,
eye.
it'll be charisma investigation, and you'll have advantage. So you're not using your intelligence modifier in this case, which for Thaddeus is not so great.
Right. Not great at all. Charisma is doable. So
There we go. There we go.
So let's see. That is that's 12.
12. Okay. Good. So yes, I think you managed to find sort of, you find the builders that are taking extra long on their lunch breaks, having their bacon sandwiches and tea, out around the build sites.
Right.
Little shady. Recognize a few people from a few things that you've done back in the day. So you find them.
I imagine I made a habit of studying people too.
Yeah. They
So
seem
I
like the
know.
kind of people that might be useful in future, sort of thing. Right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just approach them and start talking to them. Bring Dahlia with me.
Okay. So Dahlia, how are you gonna persuade them? And I think you'll have advantage from like Thaddeus's help and connections.
So we're trying to convince these guys to let the goblins intern with them effectively, right?
Yeah.
So damn it. Okay, what do they look like?
They look like kind of rough lower class builders and carpenters.
Okay.
So they're solidly, working men and women. And it would be a mix.
So shit. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So I'm gonna try to use just my natural, physical charms and my good looks, because Dolly is hot as hell.
Yep.
And so anyone that seems to like pick up on that or give me the glance over, I'm gonna tune that into those people. And I'm going to let Thaddeus introduce me and maybe kind of start the conversation. And then I'll bridge the gap and say, oh my God, I'm awful at this. I'm not a bard in real life. I'll say, oh my God. I'm going to have him draw such a brain fart right now. Okay, I'm not going to try to actually say it. So I'm just going to try to convince them to help us by appealing to their sort of workaday attitude, and this is going to be a tavern for the common working person. Don't worry about this guy here. He's just one of many, and a lot of us come from where they come from, and that they're doing the real people's work, and I equate it to some story I've heard in myth and legend of a folk hero that came from nothing, and blah 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 blah.
All right, so you pull out all the stops.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, so go ahead and make that charisma persuasion check with advantage.
And I'm also winking and talking in husky tones so the people that I can see are feeling me.
Yeah, smoky voice.
Yeah. Okay, with advantage, you said?
Yes.
Okay. What's persuasion?
Yes.
22.
Excellent. They're tripping all over themselves to help you. Man and woman alike. They're just this is such a great idea. You figure they'll agree to practically anything that you ask them to do, short of, an actual crime.
Right. And I'm 100% into that.
Yeah.
I'm looping my arms with some of them and whispering into their ear we should get a drink sometime later on me.
Excellent. I like all these future promises of drinks on you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So some time will pass while you recruit goblins, train goblins, build and renovate the structure. It would be, probably at least a couple of weeks for everything to get shaken out. Is there anything, in particular that's fabulous or astonishing? I mean, other than the pole we've already established, and that's fantastic. But what's the general decor of the place going to be like?
Well, the upstairs is going to end up looking like a boxing ring, and just kind of like you walked into one of the gyms, a boxing gym kind of deal.
Yeah.
With seating.
With seating, yeah, you've got to have at least some area for spectators to stand. You could easily have converted some of those extra rooms or the den or something into like almost like a locker room, or place for the fighters to hang out.
Maybe one of the like adjacent bedrooms can act as like a little like med station.
The spare room, maybe. Just kind of
the den or the
set up
spare
shop
room
in there or something.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
spare room.
that spare room probably would be a good sort of like little, like the nurse's room.
There's also a bedroom next to the spare room, right? Because there's the
There is a
common
bedroom
room,
there,
den,
too.
bedroom, and the spare room.
Yeah, there is.
So Emmeline spends a lot of time on scented wall sconces for the tavern.
Excellent, I like it. So like basically like dual lamps that have built-in scented like scented oils or something that they burn.
Blade plugins.
Yeah, basically Waterdeep
Diffusers,
Blade
awesome.
plugins. Yeah. That might be a good, especially for you got the dormitory level up above that's going to have a bunch of rambunctious goblins. So
Exactly.
Ulterior motive.
I would
I mean,
take some time to teach everybody else some basics of Goblin as well, just to be able to get along with the staff.
Emmeline faithfully practices while she's setting up wall sconces.
which is like, hello, it is a pleasure to meet you.
I think Doc will take some time to put some books in the library, just some secondhand books that just kind of gives the goblins a little bit of light reading, or some of his old apothecary books.
Okay, excellent.
And smithing. So.
Perfect. Sounds good.
I think Dahlia would put flowers up on the walls and in vases, kind of wherever they can. And likewise would help stock the library with books, but probably of like valiant and heroic warriors and Ares-like figures. Things
the
like
romantic ballads and epics.
The nonfiction with the fiction and tales of grand. Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, and of course you're setting up a donut shop, so you're gonna make fantastic donuts. You're gonna set up the tavern. Real important question: what are you calling your place?
Oh shit! We never talked about this.
We never actually landed on a plan.
Well, we never did land on a name. We talked about it briefly.
Yeah.
We have 4 suggested names. I vote for beers, beds, and bards.
Oh right, yeah, that's true.
Do we need to consult the HOA on this?
The HOA has like some rules about color of the outside, and you can only paint your doors like this list of 4 colors that all suck.
We could be the Autumn Ale House and Inn, and then we could paint the outside with fall colors.
Oh, that looks pretty. I like that.
You could.
Yeah, I know we're not an inn, but we don't have to let them know. I mean, if we're have no vacancy all the time,
you're just constantly. Yeah. You're constantly no vacancy because the inn is full of goblins. Excellent. Okay. So that could be the placeholder name for now. And if you guys choose to change it, we'll have the grand opening will occur next week in next week's session, a few sort of weeks down the road. But it's a good idea to get, the overview of what's happening.
Can we have a ribbon and cut it with pruning shears, but there's kobolds that rigged it to be a trap or something?
There we go.
Giving me all the ideas.
It's a mimic. The scissors are a mimic.
The ribbon's a mimic.
The house is a mimic. Turns out Waterdeep is a giant mimic.
Long con.
I imagine as time went on too, my sister and I would go around and introduce, meet all the neighbors essentially.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I can give you a brief rundown of everybody, and anybody that's particularly interesting we can circle back to. But you would have met. So you've already met Tally Fellbranch. And actually, let me just open this up. And so his place is the Bent Nail is actually the name of his shop. Sort of there's actually out of that sort of painted shield like thing, which otherwise doesn't have a name on it, there's a big bent nail sticking out of it. Very thematic. And so he's got all kinds of stuff, furniture, but he also makes shields, like actual shields that you can use out of wood. And he carves staves. So like either as a walking staff or like, really nice quarter staves, like that kind of thing, as well as furniture.
We should put a shield with our family insignia on the wall just to sort of brand the place.
That's a very good idea, Boo.
Yeah. Do you still have it? No, where'd it go?
It's
I spent time on that.
So yeah, you could totally commission something like that from Tally. He would be pleased for the work. He would go into way too much detail about woods. Just imagine you're dealing with Nick Offerman, right? Like talking about wood. He'd pick up things and like be forcing you to smell it. Smell the difference between this walnut and hickory. Which do you prefer? Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, so
you're the person.
he would be like super nerding out. Okay, so who else in Trollskull Alley? Yes, there is Steam and Steel, which is the forge that is home to Embrick and Avi. So they're both members of the most careful order of skilled smiths and metal forgers, which is the fantastic name of the guild.
Demon what?
Still.
Embrick is a fire genasi and Avi is a water genasi, and they are married.
That's cute.
Yeah, and so Embrick mostly makes weapons, whereas Avi is an armor smith. And so he also belongs to the splendid order of armorers, locksmiths, and finesmiths. So he belongs to the two guilds. Embrick, so they are both handsome men. And yeah, Steam and Steel because the fire and water. So that's fantastic. The herbalist and apothecary is Coralon's Crown, and that is run by Fala Lefalier, and they are.
I'm sorry. What was the name? What was the name of it?
Fala Coralon's Crown. Coralon's Crown.
Check. Got it. Thanks.
Yep. And the owner
Okay.
is Fala Lefalier. And they are an herbalist and a member of the Guild of Apothecaries and Physicians.
I thought that name sounded familiar.
Yeah. So Doc would possibly would know them. That's entirely possible. They have like long blonde hair that's braided, fairly like androgynous features, quite attractive, in a kind of nondescript way, but they are a wood elf. So they have sort of, darker skin tone.
Dolly's going to be asking for the introduction. Hey, Doc, you know this person? You want to tell me about introduce us?
And Doc, you would know that Fala is actually a druid.
Okay.
Yeah, so they grow, all of their components for herbalism, and they make and sell various potions. Yes, there is also Tiger's Eye Investigations. That is run by Vincent Trench, a human male. He wears like a long, basically like like a trench coat, essentially, and like a big hat and that sort of thing. He's pretty brusque and efficient, not unfriendly, but he's kind of just like straight to the point. His sign is like a big cat's eye over it. And then there is Bookworm's Treasure, which is owned by a young gold dragonborn who's on the shorter side, known as Rishal the Page Turner. And they are a mage, and they have a bookshop, and it sells mundane books, and they also have some spell books and things like that for sale as well. And they offer some spellcasting services, and they are part of the Watchful Order of Magus and Protectors, which is the guild for spellcasters.
What was their name?
It's a he, and it's Rishal the Page Turner. Bookworm's Treasure, and of course Worm is WYRM.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the sign out front is a gold dragon curled around a stack of books.
So cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 3 stories, and not that it's bigger on the inside, but it seems to have more shelves than a building of that size possibly could have. So it is just stacked with books on all 3 floors.
Okay, so we probably shook him down to see if he has any good goblin level books to donate or sell at a discount or something.
Oh, and I think he would lean forward and push up. I imagine him with like little spectacles on his like dragon snout that he would sort of push up and be super enthusiastic because you're educating people and knowledge is so important. And oh, the goblins, oh, I have just the thing. And he'd find like some old like discarded like learning books for children kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
And I think he would totally like donate to the cause.
Perfect.
So on that note, when you shut down for the night, would you be willing to trade services, educating the goblin chitlins for a pint of ale or other services we may be able to provide?
Roll me a persuasion check.
That'd be so cute.
He's not being persuaded at all. That's gonna be a 4 because I got a -1 to persuasion.
Would anyone have accompanied you on this trip?
I hope so.
I will.
Like Emily.
Thank God.
So Emmeline, when Doc is like stuttering about like trading services and like offering beer in exchange for educating goblins, how would Emmeline try and salvage this situation?
Oh, just give him a moment. You know, sometimes he gets like that. I think education is so important. Do you know we have some goblin children over in our place, the autumn ale house, and what they really need is a good teacher. I want to teach them what I learned at the monastery, but I feel like they need some book knowledge too. Do you think you might have any time in the evenings? I mean, you're so enthusiastic about learning. You'd be amazing.
All right, so go ahead and also roll a persuasion check, but with disadvantage from Doc's earlier like fumbling attempts.
Oh, no.
But remember that you do still have a point of inspiration, so you could spend that to cancel out the disadvantage.
Yeah.
You can cancel the disadvantage with.
Oh, I can cancel the disadvantage.
If you spend the inspiration, yeah.
I don't know, is 11 enough?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I won't spend the inspiration yet. It's 11.
Okay, all right. So he's sort of, I imagine Rishal with this sort of grumbly, deep voice because he's a dragonborn, and he kind of apologetic, and he's like, well, I do like beer, and it's quite tasty, and I do like educating the youth, and I'm happy to help, but my time is valuable, and I can't undersell my services. It would not be good for the guild, you understand. But perhaps one Saturday a month, I could stop by and read with the children as a bit of an outreach project. And if you would feel inclined to give me a pitcher of beer, I would consider that just compensation.
That's more than generous. Thank you.
Good. And he sort of like finishes like he was packing this box with like old books and slides it across. Please take this with my blessing.
Appreciate it. And as we're leaving, I really just want to like look up at Emmeline and thank you. Just mouth it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, the renovations are happening, a span of time. Sticks. One night when you are back resting at your establishment in the dock wards, which I'm picturing as sort of like a rooming house kind of situation, basically, that you're living in, like a tavern below, and okay, you're kind of just about ready to fall off to sleep, and there is a tapping at your window, not door.
Okay, I'm going to reach over to the side and grab one of my sticks and kind of hold it behind my back and walk over towards the window and kind of look.
Yeah, so you sort of peek slide the curtain aside, and you can see sort of resting on its tail, wings kind of folded to its side, resting on your windowsill is a flying snake that has, so it's this green emerald coiled up snake, and it's got little wings with feathers on them tucked into its side, and it has what appears to be a parchment tied with a ribbon around its body.
Okay, I'm going to part the curtain all the way and kind of slide it up. All right.
Yeah. The snake kind of just like slithers in, kind of like elevates its body up so it's looking at you, its little tongue flicking out.
Okay, I'm officially creeped out about this a little bit, but yes. I was like, I'm going to talk to it.
It kind of just cocks its head like a quizzical dog, and then looks down at the ribbon where the piece of parchment's tied around.
Okay, I'm going to reach down and untie it real quick.
Okay, so a little slip of parchment paper comes off. You open it in your hand, and scrawled on it, it just says, "Want to be part of something big? Speak to Davil Starsong at the Yawning Portal." And there is a sigil of a coiled black snake with wings, which you recognize as the symbol of the Zhentarim. You've seen it enough times, and you've heard that they use flying snakes as messengers, and the snake then just flies off.
You won't believe what you'll see when you...
Yeah. What was the guy's name again, Dan?
Davil Starsong. And I think you would know that Davil Starsong is a bit of a bigwig in the faction of Zhentarim that are the retired adventurers known as the Doom Raiders.
Okay, good.
They're basically the official Zhentarim faction in Waterdeep.
Okay.
At some point... Oh, sorry, were you not done?
I'm going to close the window, and I'm going to go ahead and throw my clothes on, and I'm going to head back over to the manor house.
Okay.
Is anybody in the group there now?
So this would be in the evening. Okay, Dahlia. So Dahlia is there.
I'd probably be there while it's getting set up and stuff, just to...
Yeah. I'll probably been spending a little more time there in the evenings instead of Summer's Night or Yawning Portal or anything. So.
All right. I'm gonna bring it in. Hey, y'all, come here.
What do you got there, Sticks?
It's on your mind, Sticks.
Well, I just got this delivered to me by a flying snake.
Oh, fuck.
My thoughts exactly. All right. And I show him, all right. And I said, y'all do know who Double Starsong is, right?
No,
Right.
what's his name?
He's like one of the bigger ones in the Doom Raiders. So this could be a bad thing or a good thing. Depends on how we look at it.
You think this is because we've been poaching his goblins?
I don't know if it's something like that or he got something else in mind.
It would seem if he was upset about the goblins, my name would be more attached to it than anybody's.
Well, also too, I think it would have probably been less of come see me and more like, here, take this dagger.
Indeed.
So,
Good point.
This does seem like the type of thing that we need to tread carefully, but we don't want to ignore.
Correct. So, anything else about like how to respond or where to find them or anything?
oh yeah, it's at the yawning portal.
Oh,
He's at the portal most nights.
okay.
That's a pretty public place, so he's not going to try anything there.
Right.
Not usually. There are ways to do it, but
Do you have a personal relationship with this star song?
none.
So why you then?
I guess because I know somebody that knows him that he knows, and it's the only reason I can think of.
So you really get into this kind of shit that often, huh?
Well, I do have another business.
I don't want to know about it.
You're right. You're very correct.
You suppose you could happen to be at the yawning portal when any meeting takes place?
Well, that was what I was kind of hoping for. I'd like to go in there with a little backup instead of by myself.
Well, fuck, I'll do it.
I think my sister and I would be too noticeable.
You know, I got you, Sticks.
All right. Thanks, Doc. All right. If we're going to do this, y'all need to either go before me or come after. I would probably suggest go before and then let me pop in and go from there.
It makes no difference to me. Yawning Portal's not a place I frequent very often, so I'm not exactly looking myself these days, so not concerned about anyone recognizing me.
True. You definitely don't look like your normal self.
Just
Thaddeus, while you guys are sitting there talking, all of a sudden, a voice pops into your head. So a calm, cool, and collected woman's voice just speaking to you comes into your head and says, I am Vajra Safahar, the Blackstaff. Come to Blackstaff Tower in the Castle Ward at once. Bring your friends.
I would know who she is, right?
Oh, yes.
We all know
Absolutely.
who she is.
Yeah. You're all locals of Waterdeep. You've lived here a long time. You know that Vajra Safahar, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that last name properly. The Blackstaff is basically like the head mage of the city charged with its protection and lives at Blackstaff Tower.
So I just kind of shake my head a moment and say,
Okay. This is definitely getting odd, y'all.
Thaddeus is the only one that heard it.
yeah, it was just
Thaddeus is the only one that heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Six is and just in general is like shit's getting on, y'all.
It is. All right.
Is there a time for this meeting on your message?
Look over at Thaddeus. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
It seems we all have a invitation to Blackstaff Tower.
And
Or are we just the belle of the ball?
we would all know
Excuse
who
me?
it is, right?
All right. Why is everybody starting to invite us places now?
Vajra spoke to me in my head.
I don't like being this known.
She did say
It's bad for business.
to come immediately and bring my friends.
I just lean my head back and just start groaning loudly and obnoxiously.
So at
Where's
this,
my sister?
no, I was going to say. All right. So at this point, Emmeline kind of bounces into the tavern. Is that where you all are?
Mhm.
She's like, "Hi, everybody. Okay, so I was just with Edwin, Kragsmere, and so I was telling him about
you
all
are-
of our adventures. No, wait, he invited you all to dinner. Isn't that amazing? Do you want to go? You're not there, are you?
I'd rather go to that, I think.
He's so handsome, Dahlia. You'll like him. He's sort of this pasty white. He's awesome.
I'm sure he has a great personality, Emily.
He does.
Boo, I'm afraid we may have more pressing places to be,
Then Edwin's.
like Blackstaff Tower.
Excuse me?
Vajra has invited us to the tower immediately.
Why? Are we going?
She is not one to have upset with you.
Yes, we're going.
Is there an order of operations we want to take this in?
So multiplication and division are first. No, parentheses are first.
Math joke, take a point of inspiration.
Oh my God. Well, there wasn't as much urgency on devils as there was as the Blackstaff.
We may be able to knock both of these out tonight to find out what the heck's going on.
Yeah, what time of day is it, Dan?
It's in the evening.
Okay. Well, it's not going to hurt anything just to hear him out, right?
Yeah, one and the other. Oh, Lord, this could get bad.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this.
All right. I guess we need to head towards Blackstaff Castle.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
I'm gonna look over at Emmeline, then lean forward and say, I still want to do the dinner with Edwin. Just let him know that.
I will. He'll
Yeah.
reschedule. Sure.
Yeah.
Our dance card's a little full this evening.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. The Blackstaff.
All right. So you make your way from the North Ward to the Castle Ward, where you start just seeing like massive, impressive, noble estates, and quickly approach the eponymous Blackstaff Tower, which is a large wizard's tower surrounded by big, iron gates. There's some outbuildings that are used for training. Because Vajra also operates basically a training academy for wizards out of the tower, as well as using it for her own business. And as you approach the, what you assume are where the gates are, although it is just a solid fence, it sort of warps and twists, and the wrought iron kind of peels and uncurls back, and sort of a path sort of just appears ahead of you, walking towards the gate, the door of the tower itself. And it does that sort of effect like, those smart buildings where the lights are flicking on just in front of you and turning off behind you. That's what the pathway is doing, as it sort of just appears across the grass, walking with you. And as you approach the gates, the doors of the tower, they just swing open ahead of you and lead you into a bit of a reception area on the lower floor.
I'm going to reach over and tap Doc and kind of lean down and go, this is kind of weirding me out really bad.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and as he's doing that, I guess it's going to be on his shoulder and lower back, whatever. I'll go ahead and cast guidance on on sticks, just in case. So you kind of feel like a warm feeling, a little more confident in the situation. Not any better, but just a little more confident.
Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
I'm gonna cast comprehend languages on myself.
Okay. All right.
I'm just
excellent.
gonna go, hello, we're here.
And after a moment, there's sort of a little sparking flicker of energy that sort of swirls out, and a little imp sort of appears, just floating there, its wings batting, and looks at you and goes, "Ah, yes, to see the Blackstaff. This way." And it sort of turns around. It's got like it's kind of pear-shaped. It's got a very heavy bottom. And like just little teeny tiny wings just like fluttering, improbably keeping it flying as it just floats and flies down the hallway, leading you to a set of stairs. And so it just keeps, pausing periodically, beckoning, come, 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 and flying. And, leads you up a stairway and eventually to basically an office and suite of rooms at the top of the tower. And standing opposite the doorway, looking out over the city, kind of out on a balcony, is a woman. She turns around. She is a woman in her early to mid 30s. The Blackstaff, this is the youngest person ever to achieve the title of Blackstaff in the city of Waterdeep. She has quite dark skin and short, dark hair. I can show you a picture later. I didn't prepare to dump it in somewhere where you could see it. But so she is a young black woman with she's not clad in standard mage's robes. She actually has very practical leather gear on, like a short coat and pants. But she's got innumerable pouches and books and things strapped to her, as long as this tall, twisted black staff that she carries as the force of her title. And at the moment when she turns around, there is a mouse perched on her shoulder, whispering in her ear, with a small ribbon tied around its tail and a baby blue coat that it is wearing. And it is standing sort of paws up and just whispering into her ear. Dahlia, because the mouse is speaking some Sylvan tongue.
Yes.
You just catch a few snatches, but you hear they have agreed, and Vajra turns to it and says, "Return to Theron," and the mouse then scurries away.
So now we know Sylvan sounds like squeakity squeaker.
It sounds like rustling leaves and wind.
Yeah, it's like the Fey language, right?
Yeah, it's like Fey forest creatures, that sort of thing. Yeah.
I don't tell anybody though. That's what I heard.
Yep. And then Vajra looks at everyone, and she almost does a little bit of a double take, and you see her sort of furrow her brow a little bit and shake her head almost to clear it. Strange. No matter. Thank you, Thaddeus, Emmeline, Brosfeather, Dahlia, Styx, Doc.
Yes.
I am Vajra, the Blackstaff. Thank you for coming.
It's nice to meet you.
Your mouse is very cute.
It is not mine. It belongs to another. It was merely a messenger.
Killing me.
Came as soon as we could after receiving your message.
Indeed, I am quite impressed with your promptness. I would not have been surprised if you had not responded at all. But indeed, it is not every day that someone, even a Brosfeather, is summoned to Blackstaff Tower.
This is true.
You have recently come to my attention. I am acquainted with Lord Neverember, and he has passed on your fine work, rescuing both him and his friend Floon. And I'm guessing that you've taken note of the violence between the Xanathar's Guild and the Zhentarim over the last several weeks in our city.
Some first-hand evidence of that, yes.
Yeah. So, some of you may know that part of my duties as a protector of Waterdeep is that I have a small group of protectors under my employ known as the Grey Hands, separate from the City Watch, that swear an oath to protect the city of Waterdeep against all threats. They work and answer only to me, and through me to the Open Lord.
Yes, we are well aware of that.
I'd heard that.
I'm always on the lookout for fresh talent. You all have proven yourselves capable. And not only capable, but at least moderately discreet, which I also value. So if you are interested, I am prepared to offer you membership in the Grey Hands. It would only require the odd task here and there carried out on my behalf to help keep your city safe. And it does come with certain perks, compensation,
And risks.
Nothing of value comes without risk.
Life is a risk.
Sometimes it's more risk than needed.
What kind of tasks are we talking about?
Well, it all depends on what is happening at the time, but let's just say that the Grey Hands and eventually those who prove themselves truly worthy to join Force Grey carry out the most delicate of tasks on behalf of myself and the city to keep it safe and, do the things that the City Watch just isn't capable of doing.
So those who join Force Grey would be inducted into its full trust so that we may know former secrets that it may have kept from us?
Well, one starts out with the Grey Hands, and as one proves your worth and responsibility and loyalty to the city, then of course there are certain benefits of inside knowledge, shall we say, about the operations of Waterdeep.
Such as what may have happened to its former members?
Of Force Grey, the Grey Hands?
Indeed.
Well, yes, of course. Some of that information is sensitive. Some of it is not. Most people who are no longer with us have fallen sadly in the line of duty. You hear laughing, cackling children.
A hag appears.
May
So-
we have some time to consider this offer?
Of course. And my, should you choose to join, my patronage is, of course, not of inconsiderable value in the city. I can, for instance, give you a taste of the kind of things that I would perhaps ask of you. You have taken a little bit of a adventurous turn, shall we say, which is right solidly within the wheelhouse of the Grey Hands and Force Grey. At the moment, I've been made aware, you all may be aware, that Waterdeep is protected with a dragon ward. That dragons cannot typically enter the city. However, a young bronze dragon has taken up residence in the harbor, which this ward does not extend its protections to, and I am merely curious. It's scared a few sailors, hasn't hurt anybody. I just wish to know its intentions. That's the kind of thing where I would send a group of the Greyhands out to learn its intentions.
I mean, I have other obligations and forms of employment. I'm just like muttering, trailing off, looking confused.
It's fine with me.
But please do take your time, think about it, consider amongst yourselves. If you are interested, get back to me in the next couple of days.
We will do that.
It's easy enough to send a message to me here. Everyone can find where I live.
You do not hide it. That is true.
No, I do not.
All right, a couple days then.
All right, let's look. All right, let's check.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
So we walk out. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
We're walking. When you're exiting Dahlia, out of the very corner of your eye, you see a sort of rippling of the air in a corner, and for just a split second, you think you can see one of these like small beholderkin that you've been seeing around, and it sort of like phases into solidity just for the briefest of seconds, looks at everyone, its eye stalks kind of going in different directions, makes a little bit of a cross between a cat purr and a pigeon cooing sort of sound, and then like phases out of existence again, sort of just like, slowly grows like more translucent, and then it's not there. And that all happens in just like a split second. Yeah, you just hear it. It's a sound like my cat makes. It's like a...
Yeah.
Strangely, my dog does something close to that too.
So Emily leans towards Thaddeus as they're headed out. This is our chance to find out what happened to him. We have to join. We can't refuse.
It may also be our chance to be lost.
Could you survive the rest of your life not knowing?
Depends how long the life is.
He was so honorable, he never would have backed out, but we could. We only have to go so far as we choose.
I don't trust her.
Neither do I, but I want to know her secrets.
Indeed. You just keep walking.
All right. So what do you guys do?
Yawning portal's on the way back.
Yep. We need to stop in and check this one out too.
True it is.
All right. I'm going to move on ahead of them kind of quickly and try to get there at least 5 minutes before they do.
Okay.
I'm going to use all my little shortcuts I happen to know. So.
All
right.
Before you head off, Styx, provided it takes you less than 5 minutes to get there, like at the 5-minute mark, because I don't want to put this to go to waste. I'm gonna put my hand on your shoulder and look at you and say, I've got your back to the best of my ability. Good luck in there.
Thanks.
And with those few words, take a D6 Bardic Inspiration.
Oh, there we go.
Excellent. All right. So everyone else sort of follows and just lets Styx get a bit of a lead. So Styx, when you get to the yawning portal, sort of you step in and look around. and a tall female half-orc sort of comes over, and you know her name is Yagra Stonefist, and she's one of the Zhentarim. She's like an underling for Davil, and she comes and just steps up. Sticks. See, you got the message.
Stonefist, what's up?
Davil's this way.
Okay. Let's
And
go.
she just leads you to a table that's in actually the very center of the Yawning Portal's tap room. It's not like in a dark corner. It's like right out in the middle. And Davil is seated there. He is a very handsome high elf in brightly colored, like leather adventuring gear, sort of like leather armor, but it's very decorative. It's over the top. It's like a bright green color with like gold and silver embroidery and threads on it. It's very embellished. He's got a long, elegant rapier that's belted at one hip with a, dueling, like a matched dagger on the other. And he has a fine elven lute that's kind of propped up beside him that he just periodically reaches over and kind of strums his very narrow, thin, elegant fingers along the strings. Got long, blondish hair, almost like a bronze-colored skin as a high elf. And he is kind of just tilted back, like boots up on the table, crossed, swirling a drink in a glass as you approach. He takes a sip, puts it down, nods at the seat across from him, and just goes, Sticks. Good to see you.
Davil, what's up?
Have a seat.
I sit down. I'll call for the server to come over. I'll take an ale.
And Davil just sort of like flicks his fingers at the server and just says, on my tab.
Thank you.
Of course.
So what's up?
Well, let's just say that I know you've done some work for us in the past, but your name I'm hearing in my ear more and more frequently these days. And your companions.
Well, I'm hoping it's good.
I assure you it's not bad. I heard that you hit one of our rival Zhentarim factions' warehouses in the city. Although I guess the Xanathar's Guild got there first. But I'm not displeased with the setback you've made to both of those.
No, just happened to be at the right place at the wrong time.
I worked hard to climb to the top of the Zhentarim in this city, and I don't appreciate these fucks coming in and trying to shoe in on my business. And I really don't appreciate these shits that work for this thing with too many eyes that lives in the sewers, where you can't even conduct proper business, trying to take over the city either. That's just not how business is done. I know this. You know this.
Yes.
There's been too much blood on the streets. Agreed?
Agreed.
Although I know that keeps your other business healthy.
It does, but,
It's also
only-
too public.
yes.
Good. Now, what about your friends? And his eyes kind of like lift and start surveying the room. And I imagine about this time is when everyone else has like entered the Yawning Portal. So how are you guys approaching and entering the Yawning Portal?
I'd like to say that Dog's probably like does a quick scan, finds Sticks, and doesn't necessarily beeline, but he's going to go ahead and try to do just a slow pass and like brush against him to cast guidance just in case, and make his way to the bar.
All right. But like as you're approaching and just as you like brush past, Davil's eyes flick up and just goes, Doc, Why don't you join us?
Oh no.
Don't mind if I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not skipping a beat, but I mean, the guidance still took, so that's all
Yep.
that he really cares about. So pull up a chair and
If the rest of your friends are around, I'd love to talk with them. I think there's an opportunity for us to make a lot of money together in this city.
Okay.
So Bras feathers are probably hanging out outside if somebody wants to come get us.
Yeah, we worried we might draw
We
attention.
didn't want to be too
if we-
conspicuous. So we're standing outside the door, blah, 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 blah.
Dahlia would have entered after Doc, so shortly after, but I would have used my what the hell is it called?
Aid step.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I wouldn't use
making an
that.
entrance.
that this face step is it's a lot.
Face up with a cloak of billowing.
I'm gonna use my
Subtle.
my fabric of many fashions, unravel this long piece of muslin and wrap it around me to completely change my outfit into like loose fitting robes that some sort of like stuffy hermit academic would wear, complete opposite of like the usually like well fitted clothes.
Yep.
And and maybe like some kind of like cap, and I've got like the hair like I've like tried to like push the hair up into the cap to give me like shorter looking hair.
Okay.
But I am not approaching the table. I'm just trying to stay in earshot.
Okay.
And I'm intentionally trying to like I want to get like a bead on the guy so I can see what he looks like. This
Okay.
person that we're supposed to have met. But I don't trust him. I'm not trying to be a part of this. And also I am anticipating that I've got a little extra cover because I'm not my normal self, but apparently everybody fucking knows me.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a charisma stealth check?
Charisma stealth. Wow, thank the heavens.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, because it's about your body language and trying to be unobtrusive, and yeah.
Okay, so I roll the d20 and I just add my proficiency.
Yep,
Modifier
proficiency
to
and
stealth.
your ability modifier.
Oh god. Well, how do I? Okay, so it's Dex plus proficiency. Okay, because I've got.
Charisma plus proficiency. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I have no, fuck, I'm not using that. Okay, so
If you fail, like get stuck in your clothing.
Bouncing around.
Yeah. Let's see. 18. Yes, 18.
Ooh.
Okay, good. All right, so you get yourself, you think, into a good position, and you're probably overhearing, the last little bit of an exchange. Like, you kind of approached under the cover of Doc's approach, and then you saw Davil like eye Doc, identify him immediately, and ask him to sit down, and start talking about making money. So the Bras feathers, are you guys like staying outside? No one really went to go get you.
Yeah, we'd be outside kind of in the shadows, just not right outside the door of the yawning portal, but down the street. Shadows.
Inconspicuous.
Yeah.
Flop, come on, we have to join because then they'll know. Finally know what happened. Blah 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 blah.
Blah blah blah. All right. So Davil looks at you two and says, "Well, we can talk, just us boys, I suppose. Look, I'm going to put it to you plain. This violence is bad for business, and anyone that can help me put a dent in that is okay in my books. What I'm offering, you've contracted with us in the past, and I know you value your independence. But you also know, before I was with the Black Network, I was an adventurer. I made my wealth raiding lich lairs. Not an easy line of business to be in, so I consider this a little bit of a retirement. He sort of strings along the lute like a little tune. And I don't want to give that up. There's a reason they call me the master of opportunities and negotiations. I've got an eye for business, an eye for a deal, and I've got a proposition for you. I'm offering you membership with me and my crew in the Zhentarim. You'll have access to our resources, our network, our suppliers. I can put you in contact with fences beyond anyone you've ever worked with in the past. People that are exclusive to members only. We even have jackets, members only jackets. And I've even got a little job to get you started that doesn't directly bear on the Zhentarim and our operations, but is of, let's just say, personal interest of mine. Interested? I can't hear you.
All right, we're going to need to think about this one.
But just hypotheticals, of course, but what would this job be should we decide to have some spare time in the future?
Well, it's a little pressing. See, someone is killing elven and half-elven sailors in the dock ward. 3 have died so far. You can imagine, as an elf, I'm not too happy with this. And I'd like this little problem taken care of.
Well, that's not good for business or good for anybody.
Exactly, no. And it's, I think, perhaps a little out of the league of the City Watch.
When Dahlia hears that it's half elves and elves being targeted in the dock ward, I'm like trying my damnedest to just like, nope, exercise patience. Nope, don't. It's better if you just sit here. Let them. It's better if you're not seen. And I'm just like slowly but surely getting more and more impatient. And then that's just like the fire, the spark, and the kindling. And I leap up and I walk over to the table with Doc and Styx in my wizard outfit. And I come to stand like right in front of what's his face.
Davil?
Yeah, Davil. And I say to him, people are targeting elves.
Indeed.
Why would they be doing that?
I don't know. And that's what disturbs me so much.
So someone with your level of professed influence and insight and knowledge doesn't know why people are being targeted, but you're asking us to go take care of the problem for you?
That's how I get to be in the position I am. Delegation.
Sounds like a dereliction of duty to me.
Well, I like to keep my hands out of it directly as much as possible, and I am a busy man.
Yeah, you look real busy.
Lots of business happens here. All night. Too much for me to keep an eye on the docks, and as you may have noticed, most of our operatives are a little busy trying to not get murdered by the Xanathar's Guild. Could use some extra help. Styx here knows that's how it works. Subcontracting. I'm just offering this with a little extra enticement this time.
I'm not interested in working for your shit guild.
Let's not be rash. Let's go talk to our compatriots before we make any decisions. I think this would be a good time to say good evening.
Yes.
You know where to find me, but don't wait too long. I'll be putting this contract out tomorrow, come hell or high water.
Sounds good. Figure we'll make our way back out since we haven't seen the brass feathers come in.
When Doc and Sticks go to leave, I lean forward on the table. I never sat down, but I lean forward on the table a little bit and I say, "Your playing could use a little bit of work." And I just spin and walk away.
Ooh, savage.
I know what a good song sounds like, Taylor.
All right.
When you come outside, it's easy to find the brass feathers by the sound because you hear this kind of over, maybe a block over. Wait, so is this closer? or is it more like?
I was gonna say, are they practicing Goblin out there?
It sounds right. It sounds right to me.
You okay? Like, give a high kick without falling on your ass.
Thaddeus, from a nearby sewer grate, you can hear a voice pipes up and says, "She could really use work on her pronunciation."
That's a completely different dialect. That's from the east side of the sewers. We're from the west side.
Doesn't she know she's going to get herself killed?
Yeah, that's Neverwinter Goblin. We're in Waterdeep.
Oh my God. So we'll go ahead and fill in the brass feathers about what Davil had said about the elves and high elves and the dock ward and the pressing issue.
That's mighty interesting. That sounds like a job that's beyond the city watch, which is what Baja just was talking about.
Dipshit in there doesn't even have a damn clue about why anyone's getting killed off.
Yeah.
How do you work with these people, Sticks? They're completely useless.
Wonder if it could be a dragon.
I have my own crew. I just clean up messes.
They pay.
They pay. I don't care.
Why would the dragons target elves?
Regardless of where this falls, Waterdensians are dying for no good reason. I feel this is still in line with keeping Waterdeep safe, regardless of which way we go. And this seems to be more pressing. We can see how this pans out, maybe, and then maybe visit with Blackstaff later.
That sounds like a good idea. I mean, in all actuality, we could actually do both of these at the same time. They're both.
No reason not to. They both got deep purses.
But then we're beholden to an organization that routinely makes murder part of its business. Or we're beholden to a high and mighty wizard.
It does seem like a conflict of interest.
Not in this particular case.
We're looking into suspicious deaths, and we're looking into a dragon in the harbor.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That sounds fucking fascinating. I've never met a dragon before.
I don't know if I want to meet one, but
the lives they've lived.
Perhaps as long as we don't declare, unbreakable oaths to either of them so that we can withdraw at any point.
We're just working.
I've never met anyone foolish enough to just declare allegiance to everyone, he or she ever meets.
Well,
that's exactly what I don't want to do.
Not to say that all of us have to give loyalty to both parties. If someone wants to keep their hands dirty, clean, whatever.
Maybe we could do it this way and let see if we could work independently on this one and not join either group at this present time.
That would be my preference. I don't want to see the elf population in the dock ward targeted. And to be honest, I think meeting a dragon sounds like it could really be fun and interesting, but I don't want to be at the beck and call of either of these people.
Especially if you become a target.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
We're trying to keep a low profile, and I think that having a house full of goblins doesn't help too much per se, but having the eyes of two powerful groups.
Yeah, that's the disturbing thing.
But that also comes with protection from two powerful groups.
That's
It would-
correct.
Do we have drinks in the tavern yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have got your own private label stash that's come in.
Can we go back and talk about this there, because I'm getting a headache, and this is
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. This
Assuming you were
seems
talking while we're
This
walking.
seems like
we're
about a
talking.
3-bottle problem. So.
All right. So when you guys return back to discuss over your options, that's where we will leave it for the night. So we will return next week to see what decisions you've come to, and check up on all of the work, and perhaps have a grand opening, and pick up from there. All right. So thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. We appreciate it as you
Yes,
join us
very much.
on this adventure. So be sure to catch us tomorrow night for the Summer Crew, the Fabulous Summer Crew, same time, same channel.
Mhm.
And Saturday at noon Eastern for the Spring Crew, led by DM Corey. Thank you very much, Mazan, for the donation there, the bit cheer. And we will of course be back next week on Thursday, and next Monday will be the Winter Crew as we go into week 5 of our
Yeah.
adventure.
yeah, crazy.
I know, which is crazy. Those of you tagging along, next week we still have to finalize the details, but you're hearing it here first, so tell all your friends. We're going to run some giveaways. So there will be an eligible giveaway on each stream next week if we hit the right viewership numbers, and we will give it away at the end of the stream. So we're going to finalize what that target number is going to be, but be sure to rope in all your friends to come and watch. If we don't hit the viewership numbers, we'll hold the giveaway to like the next week or something and reevaluate. But my plan will be to give away your winner's choice, dealer's choice of a copy of either this adventure, Dragon Heist, or, because it's releasing next week, Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
All right, so we'll be giving away potentially up to 4 of those next week, depending on how we do, and we will run the giveaway. So thank you very much, and let's go around, and everyone can... at this point, just, mention where else we can find you, what else you're doing, if you have anything else you want to promote, and, of course, what your favorite moment of the game was. So let's go in a different order, and let's start where we ended last time. Ryan.
Yes, I'm Ryan. You can find me at rrudabach on Twitter, and also the voice of Pavu on Red Hand Roleplay, which is found on iTunes and Podbean and all that fun stuff. Favorite moment of the night, I would say moments, was the Bros Feathers sibling interaction and the goblin chitter from Imolan. That reminds me of me and my sister just bickering over there. I mean, it was very relatable, very hilarious, and like Thaddeus is trying to have a serious conversation, and Emmeline's over here. It's siblings to a T.
Yes.
Yeah, it very much reminds me of myself and my sister as well, particularly when we were in our teenage years, basically.
Oh yeah.
Excellent, great. We'll go. Let's follow that up, Emmeline, with you. We'll go through the Bros Feathers.
There we go.
Fine, do her first.
She is the better Frostfeather, right? Self-proclaimed.
Coincidentally, you're right. So hi, I'm Cindy playing Emmeline Frostfeather, the better Frostfeather. Where else can you find me? In parent-teacher conferences this week.
I don't envy
So if I was a
you.
little slap happy tonight, that may have been why. But everyone on here was more, well behaved than some of the parents I talked to. I was kidding. No. Let's see. Favorite moment. I don't know. I kind of like Dahlia changing in public. I kind of liked that, even though I was just like farting around, I think this actually was bothering Jeff. I think he's kind of ticklish. Like, and it's really how to irritate teammates,
Perfect. Jeff, what about you?
So I'm Jeff, Atomic Straw on Twitter. Just doing this right now online. I think my favorite moment was actually being called to Blackstaff and having that tie that's going to get more interesting.
Yeah, I like that as well. Sending is such a creepy spell.
It is. Yeah.
Just all of a sudden someone slides into your mental DMs. You don't have to be a follower, like
what the crap is this?
Creepy. Imagine the spam. It's a good thing this does not exist in the real world. There'd be wizards spamming their
worst.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, up in the upper left, Nox.
I'm Nox. You can find me on the Twitters at NoxNoctua, where I tweet about games, my life, politics, whatever I feel like. You can find me elsewhere on the internets. Obviously, I'm here every Thursday. This Saturday on my channel, Fable Tales. The time slot is 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Normally, I'm running a Fantasy Age game in the Blue Rose system. But we're down 2 players. So instead, we're going to play a session of Fall of Magic, which if you haven't played Fall of Magic or seen it, it's a super fun game. It's GM-less, it's dice-less. They have the assets for it you can download on Roll20, but the physical version of the game is like an actual fabric scroll that comes with metal coins, and you create characters on the scroll using prompts. In the coins is your inspiration, and you travel through various locations, and within each location there's like a handful or so of these like story prompts, and you create scenes based off of that. It's super fun. Yeah, it's a really cool game. I encourage everybody to try it if you haven't yet, or tune into someone who's streamed it, because yeah, it's always a hit. You always just end up with like the coolest shit. So I'm really looking forward to playing that this Saturday. And every Tuesday, you can find me playing an Adventurers League game over on Anaris' channel. We're playing through Tomb of Annihilation. We are in Omu right now, going through all the shrines. I am playing a Warlock multi-class into Fighter, who, as soon as I can, I'm going to multi-class her into Rogue. So that'll be fun.
Excellent. All the things. All the things.
Oh, my favorite moment.
Yes.
What's my favorite moment? Oh, my favorite moment was Dan role playing as the goblin as usual. That is always a delight seeing those goblins come in.
It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing through this whole stream, and I can only guarantee it's gonna get even more ridiculous because now you're like educating.
Yeah, we're gonna have a whole fucking
goblins.
school of them.
Yeah, I think
we're a boarding school.
You're a boarding school. Yeah.
And trade school and everything else, and a donut school.
Yeah. And you know, these goblins are like working class heroes. I'm picturing like a anarchist collective, or I don't know, some hardcore communism. Something interesting philosophically is going to come out of these goblins. Yeah.
I imagine like the music scene like the music bar scene in Waterdeep is just gonna erupt with this new genre of like rock
Goblin
and
punk?
roll, like punk music. Yeah.
Yeah, these new
Goblin
goblin.
punk.
From the underground.
Yeah. Seize the means of production.
yeah. Oh my
Goblin
god.
punk.
Excellent. You heard it here first, folks. And last but not least, Matt.
All right, you can find me on Twitter at learningkim. During the weekday, you can find me entertaining people while driving my Uber route. My favorite one tonight was actually between two of them. I love the little spot where the sewer goblin said, "Hey, you need to check her pronunciation." And also the flying snake tapping at my window was one of those ones. Was like, that would have been creepy as crap.
Oh yeah, little weird flying snakes.
Bite you.
Hard to keep from going, okay, I'm just gonna hit it.
Excellent, great. All right, well, we appreciate it. Thanks to all my players for making this possible. Thanks for the other streams that are really setting the bar quite high for me. But we do what we can, and this has been a great experience so far here on Variant Roles. So we hope to see everyone here next week and then some. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next week.
See y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.